What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mike and Ant. We're going to be breaking down all our game picks for week 5. Don't bring up the Rams in this episode, my brother. We both took the loss on Thursday night. We'll talk about that on another video. Disgusted. But how are you doing tonight, bro?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I hear that. I had a day and morning for the most part, but I'm all right right now.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, but the week went by kind of fast for me this week.
That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Let's dive right in, bro.
All right, so let's start with our week 5 picks as we break down week 5,
Yeah.
and we start off with the London game. And I don't know who Minnesota pissed off, but the NFL forced them to stay in Europe for 2 weeks in a row. But you got Minnesota at Cleveland. Well, it's considered a home game for Cleveland, but it'd be Minnesota versus Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel will get his first start, and the Vikings are 3.5 point favorites. I think Carson Wentz is going to start again for Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on this game? Minnesota 3.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I did see Wentz is going to be starting. This team has failed me a lot this year. I feel like they're like 30% of my losses in our game picks, but I'm going to do it again because I can't pick Dylan Gabriel's first game as a win. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. The spread is a little tough, but I mean, if I was expecting Flacco to give the teams a few chances, I'm definitely expecting Gabriel to give them a few. I think we'll have a decent game. I think he'll do enough to keep his job for a few weeks. I don't think there's going to be a QB change at any point in this game. But I got the Vikings winning and beating the spread, or am winning by the spread.
Well, I think the spread is the way it is because Cleveland does have a top 5 defense. Their problem is offensively. Joe Flacco has 6 interceptions
Yeah,
and only 2 touchdown passes in 4 games. So I think they're looking at it as if we can just get a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over and we can just keep it conservative, run the football, play great defense, you might actually have a chance in some of these games. The thing that did surprise me though is that Stefanski is making Flacco QB2 instead of Shador QB2. Shador stays at QB3, which means if anything happens to Gabriel, that means Flacco comes right back in the game. I thought they'll make Shador QB2, move him up as well, so that way, if anything happens to Gabriel or if Gabriel struggles, then you can just throw Shador in the game because I feel like the Browns they need to see what they have in both quarterbacks to see which one's going to be their QB of the future, or do they have to look in the draft next year?
yeah.
But I was surprised that they made the switch now, seeing that they're going to be playing Minnesota. And we know Brian Flores, he comes from that Bill Belichick tree, and that defense is known for just confusing rookie quarterbacks and just tearing rookie quarterbacks up. So I thought I was surprised they made the move now, but I agree with you. I think Minnesota will win this game. Um, as far as the point spread, I want to say Cleveland will cover the 3.5, but it wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota blows them out either. So I'll just say Minnesota will cover the 3.5 and they will win.
I think it's no in
But it
between.
wouldn't surprise me if it's the other way around.
I'd say this: if the offense and the special teams don't give the other team a few easy touchdowns, Cleveland's defense could stay in it. But the problem is they have special team woes, and they've just been prone to turn the ball over. Like you said, 6 interceptions, probably a few fumbles there as well. The problem is though, I expect Dylan Gabriel to miss more coverage reads than Joe Flacco would. So I mean,
Yeah, because he's a rookie. You expect
and
that.
yeah, and that's why I just think that this game's it's gonna move fast for him. He's gonna, he'll probably get comfortable during the game, but I do believe he'll give them a few chances. Either he puts the ball on the ground or he throws a pick, and I think that's what kind of blows the spread out the water. The other thing I want to add into is this. I know they said Flacco's QB2, but I think that's a fancy term because I think that he's going to be QB2 no matter if Shador's in or Gabriel's in. And what I mean in that sense is if they decide Gabriel isn't looking good in the first half and they make a QB change, I guarantee you Sanders is the QB that comes in. So I think that all three of them will be dressed, which would probably be the telltale. If Shador isn't dressed, then yeah, it's gonna be Flacco if something goes wrong. If they dress all three, I think that if Dylan Gabriel starts looking bad, we see Shador Sanders. You know, that's
I got a question for you though. If you're Kevin Stefanski,
yeah.
how long of the leash do you give Dylan Gabriel? Because he gave Flacco 4 games. So do you give Gabriel 4 games too to
Well,
see how he does, or like how long do you make the leash?
remember everything we hear through the media that feel like isn't always true. So I just stick to things that we heard and will
Mhm.
clarify allegedly, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, coach wanted Gabriel, owner wanted Sanders, right?
Well, yeah, during the draft.
Yeah, supposedly. Now, because I don't know if that's ever been actually confirmed, right? So, allegedly. Now, with that being said, if the coach did want him, he looked at him like his potential franchise guy, which means that he'd be probably willing to get fired on the back of Dylan Gabriel. So I don't know if he'd per se put a leash. Now, if Dylan Gabriel looks bad, even say 2, 3, 4, 5 games, if the rumors are true, I don't think this would be the first time an owner's called in and said he wants to see what the other kid looks like. You see, you catch my drift. So
Yeah.
as far as if there's no ties between Gabriel and the coach, he probably gives him 4 games. If he really do love the kid and he didn't want Sanders, he's not putting him in there with a leash. He doesn't have a leash, but the owner might have a different mind state as far as what he has for a leash. So I think that's kind of what it is. You know, most coaches are willing to get fired for the guy they believe in. So if it's Dylan Gabriel, I don't think Stefanski has a leash on him.
Well, I mean, they're saying Stefanski's on the hot seat and that he could get fired if the Browns miss the playoffs again this year.
Oh,
So
they're
he might
missing.
look at it as like, shit, I got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, so and that's what I mean. So if Dylan Gabriel's his guy, he's gonna try to go do as much as he can throughout the rest of this season to just show Dylan Gabriel and the Browns are taking a step in the right direction. I don't know how much that looks as far as wins, but if that's how he felt about Dylan Gabriel, I don't think he's interested in putting Sanders in that at all. So as far as a leash for him, I don't think there is one. That would be my take on him. But like I said, it might not be his decision.
Well, yeah, we'll see if Stefanski's willing to down that hill.
Most
But
coaches,
yeah, they're stubborn. Them coaches are stubborn.
yeah, they see traits that they want, and they. I mean, you got to remember, coaches have an idea of what they can do. So if you see traits that maybe you've coached up before, similar to you, if you was a quarterback or whatever the case may be, I can understand how you can groom that. When somebody brings you in, just say figuratively speaking, say you wanted Mac Jones, right? Who's not
Yeah,
at all. He's good at all the stuff we seen yesterday. Tough kid. I mean, great game. I'll leave most of this alone for the next episode. But point that I'm making is the GM wanted the mobile guy. Shanahan didn't seem to know what to do with the mobile guy. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
last pick in the draft took his job because he has more of the traits and qualities that Shanahan wants in his pocket passer, right? So sometimes I think that's all it is. Like if John Harbaugh had got Trey Lance and built the offense around him, maybe it'd be a different story, you know?
yeah. Right now, Shanahan's showing you what he could have done had they drafted Mac Jones like he wanted
Mm.
back then.
Fortunately, I mean I won't say too much, but I think Mac Jones is gonna blow his knee out. They didn't do anything to protect him in that game from himself, really.
No, yeah, there was times he couldn't even walk to the sideline.
He's a kid's a warrior. I knew that when he was in New England. I mean, I didn't think honestly they should have gave up on him, but it is what it is. He's in the right situation for him.
He's in the right situation, and you can say for the first time in his career, he's with the coach that actually wants him.
I'll be honest with you. I know somebody else who was looking at him yesterday thinking he could probably do something with that kid. and he's the coach for the other team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would fit that. He would fit that McVay offense.
Yes, he would, and he's still young. I was literally watching him dice us up and thinking, "Oh my God, this is like Tom Brady-esque," because he's not doing anything special, but he just always finding the open guy. And I know McVay was looking at it like, "I like what this kid's doing," so I know he had to have. Special night for him. Shout out to Mac Jones, but let's get off of
Yeah.
that game.
All right, we'll save that for later. But we'll go to the next game. We have Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams 1-3. Houston comes into this game as 1.5 point favorites. Lamar Jackson's out. He tweaked his hamstring last week against Kansas City.
Who's
So
their
the Ravens get so again.
Who's gonna be their starter right now? Who's their backup?
Oh, Cooper Rush.
Got you. Not bad.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting because speaking of mobile, Cooper Rush ain't mobile, so the Ravens are going to change their whole offense for him. It might be a more traditional offense.
I think he only lost one game as a starter coming in like
Yeah, I think
6
it
and
was last year when Dak got hurt,
you might
or
know
2 years ago.
5 or 6-1, right?
Yeah, Jerry Jones did him dirty too last year, benching him that last game and forcing Mike McCarthy to start Trey Lance, so he wouldn't have to pay him that bonus.
Yeah,
That was
move.
yeah.
Well, or a smart move. I mean, I digress, man. It is what
Man, it's a but it's like it's a meaningless game. It was the last game of the season. Jerry put that in his contract, thinking like, oh, Dak ain't gonna get hurt. So no, the backup quarterback ain't gonna meet his bonus. But if he play like a certain amount of games, he's supposed to get like a bonus. And Jerry forced the coach to bench him. Like, nah,
he didn't stay there.
yeah, that's why he probably left in free agency. Like, no, I'll just go to Baltimore. Fuck Dallas.
Yeah. Also,
But anyway, for this game, Cooper Rush will get the start tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but on Sunday. And Houston 1.5 point favorites on the road. What's your thoughts on this game?
well, with Lamar, we're not even having this question, but and this is gonna be rough because, like you said, this isn't an offense like Cooper Rush in Dallas. He had wide receivers. I feel like they did other things. Cooper Rush over there, I don't know what it's gonna look like. You don't have the loaded wide receivers. For some reason, they don't use DeAndre Hopkins, even though his catching this year is like 2 targets, 2 catches, 2 targets, 2 catches, both first games. Each game caught a touchdown. He has like two of their longest catches, but they don't use him. So nothing in that. Zay Flowers is pretty good. I just don't think they have a legit number one right now, and I think they do need to use Hopkins for Rush to have a good game, right? Because Hopkins is the guy where you don't got to throw a perfect ball for him to, for him to save you. So they use him, maybe a decent game, but I'm gonna say for the most part, I'm expecting Cooper Rush to have a bad game. I don't think he has receivers that get crazy separation. Hopefully Henry's fumbling woes go away. But the reasons why the Texans are the favorite, I believe they win this game and cover that spread. I think the
Yeah, I
Texans.
mean it's only 1.5, so that people feel like they believe in Houston. I think it's because
No Lamar.
Lamar's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Baltimore actually win. I'm picking Baltimore to win this game. I think Cooper Rush is a serviceable backup. We saw what he did in Dallas
Yeah.
when Dak got hurt. My only question for Baltimore is how much of the offense do they change? Because, like I said, with Cooper Rush, you're not reading too many RPOs or anything in that stuff because he's not running anywhere. He's a stationary, stand in the pocket passer. And because of that, I think because he's going to stay in the pocket, he might use DeAndre Hopkins more. He might use Zay Flowers more. It might actually help their passing game. Because I think sometimes for Lamar, if his like first or second read is not open, he's just trying to take off and run. I think with Cooper Rush, he's not going to take off and run. He's going to stand there and go through his progressions.
I gotta add one thing before you go forward. Sorry for cutting you off.
You're all good.
I do believe Mark Andrews will have the biggest game, even bigger than the receivers with Cooper Rush. But Lamar, is it me, right? You said one thing I noticed for the past 2 weeks, and I don't know if he was doing it early in the season, but I noticed this vividly the past 2 weeks. he reverted back to problems he was having in his rookie season, even though he had a great season, right? But his
Hmm.
rookie season, he wasn't fully going through his progressions. He was bouncing around too much. He's jumping into sacks right now. Like he literally, I want to say he got sacked 6 times. One of the last 2 games, he got sacked 6 times. 3 of them was on like the last 2 drives. And I want to say he caused all 3 of them on himself. So it's like he's gun shy.
Yeah, I know in the my bad. I know in the Lions game he got sacked 7 times, which was a
That's the
career
game.
high for him.
That's the game. That's the game. Now, what I mean is either he's not trusting his reads or his guys ain't getting separation because he's not releasing the ball. He's holding on to it way too long. And I noticed that the past couple of weeks, Lamar's way too good to be doing that. And the part that I'm not understanding is typically he makes the decision to run and he's gone. He's not even making the decision to run right now. He's like just bouncing around. It's like I
Well, in the Lions game, Lamar said that he was surprised that the Lions put a spy out on him.
think he was seeing ghosts.
Yeah, and so Kansas City they decided to do the same thing. Like, okay, we're going to spy on him, and it just made me think like, so all these years that Lamar's been in the league, like no teams ever like wanted to put a spy out there.
Yeah,
Because I remember back in the day they used to do that for Michael Vick all the
for
time.
sure. For
So
sure.
I'm surprised like they didn't do that with Lamar. And for Lamar, you've been in the league now for 8 years. Like you should know what to do if you see somebody spying on you. So for him to
An-
for that to befuddle him, like that didn't make sense to me.
Another big problem for him is he does exactly the opposite of what we watched the other night. He won't take his check downs. Like he does have a lot of check downs that's open, but he's just holding the ball too much. He needs to, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or maybe he's dealing with an injury we don't know about, which now you see he's not playing. So
Oh
it,
yeah, he pulled his hammy because he missed the entire fourth quarter against Kansas City.
but maybe it's been bothering him. Maybe that's why he's not stepping up into throws or things is going on and not just instantly breaking away. It could be that. But the problem I'm seeing is it looks like rookie Lamar again. This doesn't look like MVP Lamar this year. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And their defense, they have the 31st ranked defense. It's not helping either. Like
Bro,
their
to the
defense is
30,
bad.
you want to know a worse stat? You're a we know they're known as a rushing team and they run through the tight end. That's why they're wide receivers. They treat wide receivers like the Rams treat cornerbacks and linebackers. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, you get what I mean. So at end of the day, um, they're they're the 32nd or 31st. I believe 32nd. You could fact check this. Running the ball on first and second down. You have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and you're 32nd in rushing attempts, not yards, attempts on first and second down, which should be money down. Derrick Henry's like a perennial at least 5 yards a carry rusher, and he's good for a home run every now and then. So the fact you're not giving him you're handing him the ball off 32nd, and 31 other guys are getting more handoffs on first down than he is, probably why he's in his head fumbling the ball, bro. Because Derrick Henry hasn't had a fumbling problem since like his first, second year in the league. Now
Yeah.
it just came back. And if you remember, those are his worst 2 seasons. People thought he was a bust. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know what's in his head, but you need to when you have a monster, feed that man, especially on first and second down.
Well, Derrick Henry also too. Derrick Henry's 31, and we know traditionally like running backs to hit that wall when they hit 30. So do you think that's what it is? Like now that he's over 30, that he's hitting that wall?
Well, this is the part that I'd be confused with it by because I'd say absolutely not. Now, unless we're about to see a different type of decline, which is possible. I was thinking about this. Now, here's the thing. He's not slowing down in speed. We've seen him outrun people this year. He still looks like he got the same power. He still looks like Derrick Henry. He's like defying the age stuff, right? But do
Right.
we see a decline where mentally he don't got it no more? And his body's still fine, but he's just in
It's
his
all in his head.
and he's losing the ball. Like could if Derrick Henry has a severe fumbling problem this year, he's probably out the NFL next year, no matter how good he looks. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
could we be in the verge of watching a different type of decline? I thought about it, but as far as physically, he looks exactly the same.
Well, and also too, while we're on the topic of the Baltimore Ravens, I want to say R.I.P. to Arthur Jones, who passed away earlier today at the age of 39. He won Super Bowl 47 with the Ravens back in 2012. And that's now two members from that team that passed away
Yeah,
early.
that's way too,
Jacoby Jones passed away last year at age 40.
yeah, it's crazy. Rest in peace, both young men. Like
Yeah.
way too early. But
All
yeah,
right. So yeah, next game we have another battle of two 1-3 teams. We have the Miami Dolphins at the Carolina Panthers. Dolphins are 1 point favorites. Miami had a huge blow last week. They got their first win, but Tyreek Hill hurt himself. He dislocated his knee and tore his ACL. They
yeah,
said it's actually the same exact injury that Nick Chubb had a couple years ago. And as we've seen now, Nick Chubb just has not been the same since he had that injury. So hopefully Tyreek Hill can return better. Even though he looked like he was kind of happy when they were carting him off the field.
yeah. Well, I'll say one thing. I don't know if I've seen anybody get the surgery as fast as he got it and be back
Mhm.
on his feet. Did you see the video of him walking with the crutches?
No, I didn't see that video.
He already is up on his feet, putting pressure on his leg. Bro, he's not human. So I think he'll be fine. I mean, something.
Well, I mean, I'm just hoping that he comes back because, like I said, Nick Chubb he's been struggling since he had that injury.
Yeah,
Like, he hasn't been the same, and he right now he's with the Houston Texans, and he just don't even look like the same back that he was when he was in Cleveland.
I just think it'd be harder for a running back. I think Tyreek Hill just has a different skill set because,
Yeah,
say, even if he got a little slower, he's still probably top 10 fastest people in the NFL.
yeah, that's true.
He doesn't got to get hit every play, like so. I just think as a running back, it's a lot harder for them.
All right, but as far as this game, and I'm pissed off at the Panthers too. They cost me a teaser last week because like the spread was 5.5, and we both said on the show that we had New England covering the spread. But I thought New England beat them by like 7, so
Yeah,
I got like the 6 point teaser, bumped it up to 11.5, and they couldn't even cover that. New England beat them 43-13. I'm like, what the fuck?
Drake May came out to play last week, boy.
Yeah, just the Cam Newton and everything. Because
Yeah,
come to find out, he grew up as a Panthers fan. But anyway, so with the Panthers, they're hosting the Dolphins. Dolphins 1 point favorites, and I think Miami covers the spread. 'Cause I have a win in this game, getting their second win. Carolina, outside of that Falcons game, they just have not looked good at all this year.
bro.
Like
He,
they're going to be in the running for the number 1 pick the way they're going right now.
yes, they will, and they'll be in a decision where I mean, does Brett? If this continues the rest of the year, right? Is Young? What's his leash right now?
Yeah, I mean he got benched last year, and I mean at some point they might have to bench him again, put Andy Dalton back in there, let him sit for 3 or 4 games like they did last year, or maybe sit out the rest of the season. I don't know, but he just don't look good. Last year they benched him for like a few games,
Yeah,
and then they gave him the starting job back, and he looked better.
yeah.
But now it looks like he's reverting back to the way he was before he got benched. And it's like, did you not learn your lesson from getting benched the first time? Do they need to bench you again, put you on a timeout? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I think the only bright spot they have going on over there is McMillan. But I'm gonna agree with you. I got the Dolphins covering. Waller's gonna be I think Waller's gonna be a force this year. He looks like he's back in full effect. His talent's never been in question. It's kind of was more. It's like
Maybe taking the year off last year actually rejuvenated him
well,
when
he
he
did.
had that mini retirement.
Yeah, he said that the Giants took his passion for the game. He's a receiving tight end. He said that. Did you see that interview when he said there was one point in the game with the Giants? He said that they had him going. It was like in the backfield, running head on, taking on a block for the running back. He said it was right in the middle of that play. He knew he's retiring. Like when you just know things you're not good at and you're not passionate about, and then not allowing you to do this. What's happening with AJ Brown? It's like, listen, you're taking my passion for the game, and you're telling me to be a good soldier. That's not how it works sometimes.
We talked about it last week, talking about Brian Dayball and how the only reason why he got the job was because he was Josh Allen's offensive coordinator in Buffalo, and everybody gave him the credit for why that Buffalo offense was so good.
Yeah,
But as we said, Josh Allen's actually gotten better since Brian Dayball left. So how much was it really Brian Dayball, and how
yeah,
much was he just coaching Josh Allen?
yeah.
And maybe Dayball just can't coach. Maybe he's not that good of a coach, and that's what probably took away Darren Wallen's passion for the game.
Yeah, I mean that is that. To be fair, the Giants are the reason why the Browns pulled the plug on Flacco, I believe, because it happens every year when one team starts a rookie and it goes good, another team gets excited and it usually don't
And
go good.
we'll talk about it later, but you see the way that Dayball held Dart, we about to kiss him too. Like,
Yep,
thank God, he about to save my job.
yeah, we'll talk about it a little later too. But here's the thing too. Remember, I told you the guy that probably could run him out the building. Now he's
Yeah.
injured, rehabbing. I don't want to say Dave Ball's happy that his best player got injured, but he's probably going to be happy that that player is not focused on his play calling.
Oh, well, not just that, but he also got some other good news as far as his job security goes with the owner and
Yeah,
his situation.
yeah,
So the owner might not even be paying attention to his play calling either, because he
yeah.
got other things going on.
I agree. But without that being said, let me get back to the Dolphins game. I got the Dolphins winning and covering.
Yeah, same here. I got Miami winning this game, and they're gonna cover the 1 point.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on. We got Las Vegas Raiders 1-3 at the Indianapolis Colts 3-1. Colts got their first loss last year. We'll see what the Tomb Raider has cooking up this week. But her team is 7 point favorites at home. The Raiders, outside of that first game against New England, they haven't looked good either.
They have
And
looked like the worst team in football has played.
yeah,
Gino
which
wants to give the ball away.
Yeah, Chat GPT predicted they'll be the worst team in football. But also too, like Pete Carroll at 74 years old, he's the oldest coach in NFL history.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason why you don't see coaches in their 70s coaching. I mean, even Bill Belichick, the GOAT, like he's the same age as Pete Carroll, and he's struggling out in college at the University of North Carolina. And I'm wondering with Pete Carroll and I guess Belichick, them being so old, do you think the game just like passed them by? Maybe like the Raiders, I know they just hired them, but you think that they should like get fire Pete Carroll and just look for like a younger coach?
No, I'm gonna say something crazy that a lot of people's probably gonna think is crazier. Probably a lot crazier than what I'm thinking, right? Bro, they need to trade for Russell Wilson. Is what they need to do because Russell Wilson he knows Pete Carroll's offense. There's another Marshawn Lynch there. Jacoby Myers is probably equivalent to like a Doug Baldwin. It's the same Seattle offense. You bring in the guy that knows how to run it. Now he can. But I mean, short stuff he's fine with. Deep shit he's fine with. Outs he has trouble with, but so doesn't Jalen Hurts. That's why they hide it. So
Yeah, but do you think Russell actually wants to come back? Because remember, the reason why Russell left Seattle is because he felt Pete Carroll was holding him back.
well, yes, but listen, sometimes you jump the fence, you realize it's not greener on the other side. You realize maybe you should have listened to the person that told you that. Pete Carroll knows how to protect him from himself. Russell Wilson knows what Pete Carroll asked of him. They're a marriage that could save each other's jobs, which means Russell Wilson might have 2 more years left in him. Pete's probably the guy to give it to him and get you right to look the part to be able to last the 2 years. And Russell's probably the guy to get Pete back at least to the playoffs. I don't think it would be right now the way it's constructed, but I think Russell will bring them some stability, and because they're familiar with each other, I think it would work a lot better. I don't think that Pete Carroll's system needs someone that doesn't turn over the ball. Now, when Russell's managed right, he's not really a guy that just, turns the ball over a lot. Gino is literally throwing to the other team every game this year. He's like throwing it to him 4 or 5 times a game. It's almost like he's so confident that they trust him that he thinks he can make like Matthew Stafford throws. And he's throwing throws he's just not capable of making. So I think Russell would make the Raiders decent. And here's the thing. That division right now is open. The Broncos are not as good as I thought they would be. The Chiefs look like they could be got. And the Chargers looked like they was going to run away with it. But oops, they just went back to the same Chargers, right? So right now,
I told you it's something about going to the East Coast about that team. I don't know what it is.
now all I'm saying is if the Raiders got Russell right now, they have a shot. The Geno shit, you gotta admit buyer's remorse and get out the way right now. He's just
Oh,
not.
you see why Seattle was so quick to trade him.
Yeah, yeah.
And Geno right now he's playing like the Geno that was a bust for the first 10 years of his career.
But also, let me write a story for you, which NFL loves, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy named Russell Wilson in Seattle. Who comes and takes his job?
Geno Smith.
Now there's a guy, Geno Smith in Oakland, who comes takes his job.
Well, Vegas, but yeah, Russell Wilson.
But you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Now the story just writes itself, bro. Now the truth is Russell Wilson now is better than Geno Smith would be in his career. They're just better than, right? They need to get it together, mend some fences, and they might at least be able to go out at least playing good. Like Geno and Pete is not gonna work.
Not, I mean, unless the Raiders, because they're saying, and again, we don't know because they haven't played a game in the pros yet, but they're saying that next year's quarterback class coming into the draft is one of the best quarterback classes we've seen in a long time. So maybe the Raiders they could just play it out with Geno, so they can get like a top pick and get one of these quarterbacks. The only thing though, at Pete Carroll at his age, he'll be 75 next year. Like he's not at that age where he can actually like sit and develop a quarterback.
And that's the thing. I think Brady likes Russ. I think they have a relationship. I think that Pete Carroll and him could be mended. I think I heard they might have already mended it. Bro, you just cut ties. Like Geno, yeah, he's right now like, and not say Russell Wilson isn't a backup at this point, but bottom line, what I'm telling you, that just works because of what's there, the system. He knows it. You could just basically jump in the car and keep driving, leave the keys in. He's safer than Geno. And I think had Geno not been so sloppy with the ball, the Raiders might have a better record than they have right now. Don't think they're great, but he's a big part. He's probably the main part why they lose.
What about Mariota? Because their offensive coordinator is Chip Kelly, and Mariota won the Heisman playing for Chip Kelly in college. Granted, it was like 15 years ago.
I don't mind that either, but I don't think that like I don't know if you I don't know. I guess that would work if I had an off season with that. I feel like I would like that move, right? I don't trust Chip Kelly like I trust Pete Carroll and Russ together. I'm saying like I've seen them crush our dreams a bunch of different times, right? So
Yeah.
I just know they have a little bit of magic. I've never seen Chip Kelly really do much in the NFL. Like he ripped up the Eagles, they like got rid of everybody good, ran them into the mud, got fired, and now he's running a Raiders offense that looks like the worst in the NFL. So I don't know how much I trust that or was it Oregon?
Yeah, it was Oregon.
Oregon offense with Mariota. It's time I'm high on Mariota. Like Mariota in Baltimore, sign me up. Like Mariota in Oakland, we've seen that before. It just would be with different coaches. So Russ, I think, could come in right now and give them an upgrade at that position. And I think that there's a team waiting for you to call them, and they'll probably be willing to pay probably a lot of that money if you give them the right pick. And they probably don't even got to be that high. That's what I would do.
Well, the Colts are 7-point favorites. I'm taking the Colts to bounce back, win this game. and cover the 7-point spread.
Yep. And this is gonna go one or two ways. I'm matching you on that. I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking them to cover the spread, but I'm also gonna acknowledge this is a trap game. Either the Colts are gonna blow them out or they're gonna lose. One of the two. No in between. We won't if this game is close, I believe somehow the Raiders find a way to beat them. Cause I just feel like the Colts right now, after the Rams game, they're not being, not enough people on the field, a little bit of turmoil. I remember I've been telling you, and I don't like to prey on downfalls, but I feel like the roller coaster is heading down. Does it start or continue this week? It very, it
Well,
very
if they lose to the Raiders, Carly, she might fire the coach on the sideline. We,
well. What
we
I'm
might
saying is,
make it to the locker room.
you remember my prediction was this won't end well.
Yeah,
This may be the start of it. I don't think the Raiders would do it, but I just something looking at this game, I almost picked the Raiders. But I'll take the Colts covering, but this is definitely a game to watch out for.
yeah, because she listening in on the play calls, so all she has to do is hear something she don't like, she might fire him.
This is why too. Look at I want to read one thing off. Let me make sure I have it in front of me. All right, let's just read this off right here. Genty last week, right?
Mhm.
21 carries, 138 yards, a rushing TD, two receptions, 17 yards, two reception TDs, three TDs total. He did have a fumble, which obviously can't be doing that, right? That right there is a recipe to pound the Colts into the ground. If last week wasn't just a one game wake up, he's putting the league on notice. So if the Colts get in trouble in this game, he's probably going for $150. They're controlling the clock. We start seeing arguments going on the Colts sideline because I know eventually we're gonna see it.
All right. Well, the next game we have the 1-3 New York Giants at the 0-4 New Orleans Saints. Saints at home, and Saints are 1.5 point favorites at home. The Giants last week got their first win of the season. Jackson Dart making his first start, played well. I was surprised they didn't really ask him to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Like he had a high completion percentage, but he only threw for like 111, 112 yards. So he didn't really push the ball down the field. Everything was short, and he also used his legs a lot more than I suspected. Because watching him in college, he didn't really run like that, so I didn't know he had legs like that.
You remember when I
Um,
was saying I want him on the Rams? You remember I kept
mhm.
marking. I'm like, yo, let him fall at the top of the second. He's an athlete, boy. But I
I'll
think
say this. Oh, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just say what was you
I
gonna
was
say.
gonna say, like, I bet Shador right now wishes he took that meeting a lot more serious. Because if
Yeah.
the Giants had drafted him, he'd be starting right now.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Um, the fact he told them I don't want to play for you is kind of crazy if that's what happened allegedly. But I like what they did with that. This is one thing I got to give Dayball credit with because I haven't seen much to like with Dayball since day one he's been there, and I'm not obviously a Giants fan. I don't watch all their games, so don't come clothesline me if he's done a few good things here and there, right? But he let the game come to him. He let him know, run if you need to. You can see it. He wasn't, some reads were confusing him. There was a shit ton of designed runs. He was getting his confidence up through those runs. Short passes underneath. If it's not there, run. If it's not there, run. Obviously, there's going to be a point where you don't want him to do that as much. But for those first few games, that's the confidence. You've seen him getting jiggy in the end zone and stuff like that. Like that's what you need. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I will say though that if I'm Dayball though, I'm preaching slide because there's a lot of those runs where he's like taking on the linebacker head first and it's like, bruh, just slide, just get down. Don't try to prove how strong you are, how tough you are. Just get your ass down.
I say a few things, and this is obviously just for field experience. I feel like me personally, that's the shit that gets you injured. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Oh, the sliding.
not just that. It's like I get it. Sometimes you could go down, it's not a risk. But when sometimes you do the unnatural thing to do, it's when shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you've been playing, most people been playing football since you was getting tackled in the backyard with no pads. You really shouldn't have a problem getting tackled with pads for millions of dollars. And I mean, that sliding into the ground, especially sometimes with these turfs now, I'm more worried about ankles and knees doing that shit than I am somebody taking a tackle. It's football. You know what I'm saying? Like I get some of the safety rules, but some of this stuff I'm just not with it, man. Just that, and if you go forward, you get more yards. It's like I just always feel like fighting for every yard. It's a game of inches. So you slide back here, you lose 4 or 5 yards. You can just go forward and get the yard. You know what I'm saying? And he's also fast enough too where he can hit you with something. Like, let me shimmy this dude. Like he's not moving like some of these dudes that ain't got no will. So just watch out for your legs, bro. Everything else is fair game.
yeah. Well, that's my point though. Is like he is their future, and so like you don't want him to get hurt. But I mean, he did give him an energy boost. And one thing I like too is like the old lineman talk about just his swag and his energy. Like it makes him want to run through a brick wall for him.
Yeah.
And the way they were talking about him, again, I feel bad for Russ, but it's kind of like they weren't believing in Russ the way they believe in this kid.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants have something here too, because another thing is that Dart, Scatterbo,
Oh,
Adul Carter, Malik Neighbors, like they're all close. They're very like tight, like a tight knit group. The way they talk, the way that they seem like they all hang out together
yeah.
off the field and on the
Right
field.
future.
So I think the Giants are building something nice up there in New York. I just don't know if Dayball is the right coach. Speaking of Dayball too, well, speaking of the Giants, Neighbors tore his ACL, so he's out for the season.
It sucks, man.
So that sucks for him. 'Cause I would like to see him and Dart get more of a rapport.
Yeah.
But as far as for Dable, as you were mentioning earlier, his best player and his number one, I guess the one that talks the most shit about him in his offense, he's out. So he doesn't have to worry about that. And then the sad news for the Giants, but a little bit of good news, just joking though about Dayball,
Yeah.
is that the owner, John Moore, he was diagnosed with cancer this week.
Man.
And so so for Dayball, it might be a good thing because the owner, while he's going through his treatments and stuff, he might not be paying attention to what Dayball's doing. So that could help save his job as well. But he was damn near about to break out with Dart after that game. He was so happy.
Yeah.
You can just see in his face like this kid's gonna save my job.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna get their second win in a row. I'm actually surprised that the Saints are actually 1.5 point favorites in this game.
It's
So I
crazy.
think the Giants should win. The Giants defensively, the Giants have a sneaky good defense
Yeah, they do.
and that nobody's talking about. Like that front four with Carter, Lawrence,
Burns.
Burns, Thibodeau. I mean, like I said, the Giants, they got a young team and they got a squad. I
Yeah.
think all thing they're missing is just a coach.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how these young players react to him and what he does going forward. One thing I want to add back in though, why I was saying about that not overthinking things when you have rookies, just to kind of give an example. Chip Kelly was on Ashton Genty all year. We're gonna back up a game, right? About
Mhm.
his stance in the backfield, right? Now,
Yeah, they changed
just,
the stance.
just that little thing, Genty didn't play good all year. Last week he said, "You know what? I ain't doing that. I'm doing what I want." And look, it's because
Had the best game of his
it's
young
because
career.
you're already telling him before the play starts. Think about this. Bro, he's already great at what he does. You're giving him another thing that just is completely irrelevant. So I think that's the thing. By telling Dot slide right now he's running and he's thinking, let him play free. You that's it. You know what I'm saying? Once
Yeah.
he gets his confidence up, then you start telling him stuff. Maybe you should slide a little bit. Do this, do that. But Let him right now just run loose like a dog that came out outside for the first time. Just let him run around the yard. It's fine. It'll be all right. But they got a bright future. Their defense, literally probably a top 5 defense. If Doc can just play, you know, Doc can win this year being a good game manager, throwing the ball and running a lot. The Giants will win a lot of games like that.
Is it enough to say Dayball's job, or you still think he's getting fired?
I think that because of a lot of circumstances, I think Dayball might actually end up being safe, but I still think he needs to win at least 6 games. I don't think anything less than that saves his job. Doesn't matter if they love him or not. It's just not gonna work for New York. Doesn't work for
No.
me, brother. That's it.
Well, what's your thoughts on this game though? Giants and Saints. Saints 1.5 point favorites at home.
Got the Giants winning. I honestly don't understand. Put it like this. No disrespect to the kid. Rattler should never be the starting quarterback of any favorite team ever. They just can't be the favorite unless they, like, because it starts there. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Mm.
it's kind of like why the Ravens are the underdog this week. It's because Cooper Rush. Like a bit, it'd probably be the favorite by 10.5 had Lamar played. So in this, I'm looking at it the same way, bro. It's like one of them has Rattler. He just can't be the favorite in anything. Doc got you, boy. Like one of y'all is a potential. One of them, his first game might have played a better game than the other one played in 2 years. So I just can't look at the Saints as a favorite. Kamara hasn't got going at all this year. I think they do got something in Keandre Miller. I think Kamara probably be traded by the deadline unless he for some reason just wants to be in New Orleans.
Well, they just signed him to an extension before the season started.
I know, but the thing is though, Keandre Miller is looking better than him right now. He's younger than him. He's cheaper than him. They did put the contract up. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they thought Carr would be there, or I don't know what they was thinking. Maybe they just wanted to be loyal to him. But I think at this point, it comes down to they're probably already talking to him. Do you want to go to a winning team? What are we doing here? What could we? They're in full-fledged rebuild mode. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a ton of picks. I think you call them with any picks for anybody on that team right now, I think they could be had. I think probably 3-4 guys would be out of there before the deadline.
Yeah, probably Cam Jordan too.
For sure, 100%. I don't know why the Lions, obviously in division, but someone like the Lions, the Ravens, there's a ton of teams that should have been blowing them up for him.
Well, if you're the Saints though, you shouldn't care about trading a player within the same conference. You ain't going nowhere. It's not like the
Especially
Saints are Super Bowl contenders.
by the time that they're good, he'll be retired. I would
Yeah.
have a problem with it. On top of that, I don't think that we've seen division trades in there. The Lions traded T.J. Hawkinson to the Vikings. Everybody thought that was like, oh my God. He was young in his prime. He's still pretty good. Look it. They popped up with Laporta. Think he's better. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you trade in your division. You just gotta have the balls to do it. That's it.
Yeah. But I was gonna say this though. I think the reason why the point spread is the way it is because maybe Jackson Dart's making his first road start. So maybe they think him being on the road, maybe he would struggle.
Bro, they just beat the Chargers.
Yeah.
When I look at games like this, you know what I say sometimes, and honestly, sometimes it does work out like that. Shit, I might as well put $100 on the Saints. What do they know that I don't know? Right? And
Right.
once in a while, it's like you might catch $500 off that game, right? It's like no one expected the Saints to win, right? But and that's typically when they're the underdog by a little bit. Bro, they made them the favorite. What do you know that I don't? The Saints have not been good. They don't have a quarterback. Their defense isn't good. They're saying a lot of their people are trade candidates. We just watched the Giants, young, fresh, talented team, new quarterback, good defense. beat the 3-0 Chargers. I don't care that they're in New Orleans. You got to explain to me how you came to this. You got to know something I don't know. Now, I'm not going to pick them because I don't know what they know. I'm going to go with the obvious pick. Giants should win the game. Now, if they lose, games like this is the games you're like, what metric? I don't know if it was a computer, a person. What metric did they look at to come to this? Because I can pull everything in front of me, names, teams, backups, coaches, everything. And it's going to be hard to come to a conclusion to justify the Saints being the favorite. And it's pretty hard to do that. Like, you should usually be able to find something, right? Like, oh, their quarterback's good. Bro, the Saints don't have nothing to justify being the favorite here. So there's no way I could pick them in this game. Yo, yo, bro. Yo, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Pardon the interruption. Pardon the interruption. We're having technical difficulties. Nope. Pardon the delay. As soon as he fixes this, we'll be right back giving you the rest of our picks. He's gonna back out and come right back in. We'll see if this works. Oh, sorry about the delay. I don't know what's going on. Yo.
Yo,
Yeah, you back now. There you go.
yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yep, listen. Shit happens. That's what happened. Where was we at?
All right, so I'll just move on to the next game. We both got the Giants winning.
Yeah.
So the next game we have the 1-2-1 Dallas Cowboys at the 0-4 New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys are 1.5 point favorites on the road. The Cowboys have an interesting team. They have the number one offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
They have the worst defense in the NFL. So apparently, Matt Eberflus, not only is he a bad head coach, he's a bad defensive coordinator too. So, but despite that, though, the Cowboys and their number one offense is still favored to beat the Jets at on the road. Excuse me. They're 1.5 point favorites. This game, I'm actually gonna take the Jets. I think the Jets will win and cover the spread. The Cowboys are not that good. The Jets are not that good either. But the Jets can easily be 2-2 and 3-1.
Yeah.
You can make an argument they should have beat Pittsburgh. They did get blown out by Buffalo, but they should have beat Tampa. And the game against Miami last week was pretty close. It was a 6-point game. I didn't really watch it because I was at work, but the final score is 27-21. But I think the Jets just might be. I think because they're at home, I'm giving them the edge. I know Dallas is favored. They have the number one offense in the NFL, but that defense is dead last for a reason.
Yeah,
The Jets could put up some points against this defense. So I think that's why the Jets will win, and obviously they'll cover the 1.5.
I'm gonna flip the coin there. I'm gonna take Dallas. I think that Dak will put up more points than the Jets will be able to put up. But I do think it'd be a close game. But I got Dallas winning that one.
So you got Dallas covering the 1.5.
Yeah.
All right, that means well. What do you think about them having the best offense and the worst defense on the same team?
I think some of it might even be kind of misleading a little bit because if you look at it like this, that a huge game for Green Bay, 40 points, right?
Yeah,
High game. Green Bay looked like complete dog shit that game. You also had the Giants game, or was it the Eagles game? Well,
well, that Chiefs game they scored over 42, and that game went to overtime.
yeah. Now you had the Giants game. Now the Giants that game, their defense ain't looking good like the credit we're giving them now, right? And it's a roller coaster.
Game they've had this year.
Yeah, they played like shit that game. Now you could say, all right, it could be Dax playing great, and I am giving him his credit. Pickett's played out of his mind since Lamb hasn't been there. And obviously CeeDee Lamb is what he is, right? Javante's added a nice punch to their backfield, so I do think their offense is serviceable, and I do think they're pretty good. But I don't think they're the best offense in the league. I don't think they're even top five.
Yes, I was about to say that too because
Yeah.
I
So
think it's kind of misleading because those two games with the Packers and the Giants. Let's not forget that number one offense got held to 14 points and got shut down by the Bears.
this is yeah.
The
So
Bears the top defense.
yeah. So this you see why I named those two games where it's like you put up like a hundo in those two games or 80 something. And that's kind of where it's misleading in that aspect of it. Because if you was to ask me, and I'm not a Hurts guy, is their offense better than the Eagles? No, the Eagles can't be stopped from scoring. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? No matter what you say about it, it's like no. So are you flashy? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So uh, I don't buy them as the number one offense. I do buy them as the worst defense in the NFL. If
We
not,
see that week after week.
yeah, if not the worst, bottom five for sure right now, which is crazy because they got playmakers, right? I think Micah Parsons hit a lot of this, and this is why it was a bad decision to let him leave. But I am buying them as a bad defense. So I'm not buying them as a top five offense, but I am buying them as a top 10 top five defense. I'll take them as a top 10 offense. So that's why I think that they'll be able to handle their business because I think the Jets just have a little bit of issues. I thought the Jets would be a lot better than they are right now, personally. They're a little disappointed to me, and it's not really Justin Fields. They've found different ways to lose games now. It's not just him. It's
But
actually
to me, the disappointing part is their defense. Under Robert Saleh, they had a top 10 defense every year.
yeah.
And Aaron Glenn being a defensive guy, you expect their defense to be better. And somehow that defense has gotten worse with Aaron Glenn.
Yo,
They
I
were
got
better with Saleh.
I got the most fireest idea for them on defense. What they should do. This is a move I think they should do instantly. Trade
But
Sauce Gardner to the Rams. But off of that,
no, in all seriousness, though, it could be that those players fit well with Robert Saleh's defense. Maybe Aaron Glenn needs to get his own players in there that could run his defense. It could be that could be the issue.
also Robert Sala. I don't know too much about his background. Does he come from being a player? Was he a player?
I believe he was, but let me
No,
look him
I
up.
know Aaron Glenn is from my. I'm gonna give away my age right here, but I watched Aaron Glenn play when I was younger. Like I
He
was a
coached the
teenager.
Jets back in the 90s.
Yeah, but I watched him play with unstrapped chin straps. Like I remember him. Like I was playing football, watching him play. He's one of the cornerbacks I used to love back in the days. So I know he's coming at it from a cornerback perspective. I don't know what Salah's background is, but I mean, there's always different defensive philosophies, and that's why you need good D lines, good linebacker coaches, good DB coaches. You need the whole works, because he might look at a defense only from a cornerback perspective. So you need to make sure you got guys to do other things. I mean,
Yeah, Salah, he only played in college. He wasn't good enough to make it to the pros.
so he's
Like immediately after graduating from college, he went straight to coaching. He didn't even
so
like coach the draft or anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So when you look at it from that aspect, he's just more equipped to deal with the defense because he's looking at it probably from the totality of the defense. Aaron Glenn is looking at it from his position as a defender, which sometimes is a good thing, especially typically as far as the players. They love player coaches, but um I don't know if that necessarily translate all the time into defense. For some reason, I think linebackers is like better coaches in the
Yeah,
NFL.
the linebacker typically is the quarterback of the defense,
And, I,
especially the middle linebacker.
and that's what I was gonna say. Like it can be the safety sometimes, but I think that linebacker just sees the field like the quarterback from the other side. So I
Yeah.
think that they're typically just a little bit better at coaching, maybe. So Glenn just needs to get his feet wet, but y'all know right away if he likes his corners, they'll either be there or they won't at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, but for Aaron Glenn, though, I understand what you're saying, but it's just kind of surprising because he was a D coordinator. That's how he got the job because of the way he coached the Lions defense.
But
So yeah,
remember,
the D coordinator all these years, you probably see it from like a wider view.
this is what I was telling you. This is why I think sometimes people, and not saying this is him, because we gotta give him a lot more time to really know what he can do. But think sometimes people don't understand. You see defensive coordinator, and you're not realizing what his linebackers coach and his D line coach and what these other guys are really doing. Like
Yeah,
his
you're
specialty
right.
might not necessarily be why they're good. That's why sometimes teams will just promote somebody up. He might have been the guy. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I think, and that's the thing. I think some people have specialties. Some people see the whole field, and player coaches, you got to really give them like a year or two to see how they're looking at the field. Because if his cornerbacks are playing extremely well and the rest of his playing like shit, he probably, still see it from a cornerback perspective. If his linebackers and all of it stop playing good and his cornerbacks are playing bad, he's obviously not a cornerback specialty. He's just trying to put the pieces together. So you kind of just got to see how it works. But I feel like if I know Aaron Glenn the way that I'm thinking, he's gonna build from it. You got to start in the trenches, right? But after the trenches, he's gonna want his cornerbacks. It's like how oh my god, why can't I think of his name? My guy that used to be the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
oh, Raheem Morris,
No,
Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips, OG, Wade Phillips. He always needed two cornerbacks to set his defense up everywhere he was at. Denver, LA. He looks at it like you get the line, you get the corners, and you kind of build inward. I think the Rams still have that. Don't really look at the linebackers as much as they should because they're looking. And now for some reason it translated out to our corners. But usually we understand the corner position that we need them. So I think that Aaron Glenn will build it like that, but it's gonna take some time. If he don't trust these corners, you'll see one get traded. Probably now you'll see him draft a guy, maybe bring in a guy he prefers. But I just hope that if Sauce gets shipped out, it's to LA.
We'll see. But we'll move on to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos 2-2 at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 4-0. They're going to be 4.5 point favorites in this game at home. The big controversy for the Eagles, though, is AJ Brown not happy. Even though they won last week, Jalen Hurts did not complete a single pass
in the whole
in
second
the
half.
second half. He went a whole half without completing the pass. But that Eagles team is so deep, they still found a way to win despite their quarterback not completing the pass for a whole half.
Wild Bill, this was a hard game to pick. Before I do that, I'll say this. AJ, we said this on a very early show, I think even before week 1, or maybe right after week 1. AJ won't be there at the trade deadline unless they tie him and force him to stay. And I even predicted that he would want to go to the Patriots. And I feel like we're already starting to hear those rumblings. He wants to go with Vrabel. They know he's going to want to go with Vrabel, just like he was with the Titans. And he's grew up a Patriots fan. So not only do you get to go with your old coach that didn't want you to leave Tennessee, but you get to go and play for the team you grew up liking. I mean, didn't they mail him a jersey before the season and everybody was confused when he was unboxing it, smiling? It's like, come on. It's been written in stone already. AJ Brown gets traded to the New England Patriots. It's happening. But with that being said, the Eagles, this is a tough game to pick. I got the Eagles winning. I got Denver covering the spread. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if this is the game that the Eagles drop. But I'm going to take the Eagles and take the Denver covering the spread. But Eagles to win.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles win the game. I think Denver covers the spread. This Eagles team to me kind of reminds me of the 2023 Eagles. In 2023, the Eagles they got off to a 10-0 start, and then in the month of December they just fell apart. I
Yep.
think they finished that season 11-5. I mean, no, 12-5. So they finished the season two out of their last like 6 games or something like that.
Didn't they go 1 and done in the playoffs?
Yeah, one and done in the playoffs. And this season kind of feels like that. Like, yeah, they're 4-0, but even though they're 4-0, they don't look like the best team in the NFC. Like, I still think Detroit is better than them. And that's my feeling. But I do think they win this game. Denver's kind of been up and down this year.
Yeah,
Even though they should be 3-1 because they should have won that Colts game. I don't care what anybody says.
for sure.
But I think Philly gets this game, and I think Denver covers the 4.5. But I have a question for you, being a former wide receiver. Can you imagine playing a football game where your quarterback doesn't complete a pass the whole half? So like y'all just running routes, just getting cardio in for a whole second half, not doing anything.
No, I'll be honest with you. I've had fits on the sideline. I feel like all wide receivers do because, and it's not just wide receivers. If you're a person that loves the game and you want to make plays in the game, here's the and AJ did it the right way. I know that Eagles fans, probably a lot of them, hopefully not all of them, but I know they'll turn on him and a bunch of people say it's about winning and all this other stuff. But here's the truth of the game, the truth of what it goes, right? First of all, when you have no passion to play the game no more is when you retire, right?
Right.
So if you're in your prime and you feel like a team is taking your passion away, you're not obligated to take a short, not decide that you don't want to play football no more because a team doesn't want to use you when there's other teams that will. That's just the truth, right? And he knows that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know he's paid, I get that. But last year, he went to management, he talked to them behind scenes. I need the ball. He's a good soldier, read the book on the sideline, didn't really throw nothing out there, whatever. But a lot of people knew what was going on, right? At the end of the year, he dropped his little Instagram post and clarified stuff. I tried to do what everybody told me and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the Super Bowl. He was like, it lasted 2 days. This is a guy that's a genetic freak that's hungry to make plays. 2 days after that Super Bowl win, he was hungry. Guarantee other people was gaining weight, getting drunk, calling their off-season women, going on vacations. This man was already thinking about football. That's what tells you what type of person and athlete he is and how much this means to him. Forget the Super Bowl. We got that. All right, y'all got it. I did everything you wanted, right? Now, he let them know behind scenes. They never changed it. He then let them know, don't think this Super Bowl changed my stance. I got to put it out there a little bit so you guys understand I can't keep doing this because you're taking my sanity. I play football like other people use the gym. Imagine going to the gym for your workout to get, to get out, your energy or what you got to do. And they tell you, you can't use the machines today. You can just run laps. Hear me now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now 4-0, he's letting you know, bro. I already said this. He put it out. He said, when you do things the right way, I don't have the exact quote. You could probably pull it up, but he said, when you do things the right way, when you tell them and you're ignored, when you're constantly put in the corner, he said, just walk away, right? Or it's time to leave, right? Now, what he's telling them is, I told you I need the ball for my sanity. You pay me $30+ million a year for that. You know I'm a top 5 baller in the game.
Yeah,
Right?
I got the exact quote here. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The exact quote is, if you're not welcome, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way.
There you go, right? Now, he did nothing wrong. So when he comes out and says, trade me, or you hear he goes to Howie and says, trade me, he's been telling you nicely for 2 years. I just want the ball. I need the rock. I enjoy, like, a ring and championships isn't enough for me. Like, I love the game. Some dudes can play on the bench and they're happy getting the ring. They don't even care about getting in the game. He needs the ball for his sanity. He needs the ball to keep his passion for the game. He needs the ball because this is what he loves to do. Winning is great. Winning don't mean shit to me if I'm not involved. That's me. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that, and also too, I think he also knows that this shit is not sustainable. You can't win games in the NFL consistently not completing a pass.
Yeah. I think deep down, it's a bigger thing. I think if you right now, and I'm just gonna be truthful, he got his ring. He's not a guy that's worried about money. Obviously, I think I seen something where he's not even spending money he makes. Like, he's well off. He's set. He don't care
Well,
about
yeah, and he's cheap too, because he complained about spending $20 on a haircut. He thinks
that.
that's
Might have been what I see. So I know his bank account look good, right? So, and not to pocket watch, I just know people like him, right? So he's good on all those aspects. If you was to tell him right now, would you rather play for the Patriots for the next 6 years and maybe one championship, but get 8-9 targets a game, or win 3 more trophies with the Eagles, catching no passes a game? He's not picking the Eagles. That's already sailed. He gets no enjoyment of winning games that he's not involved in. He's not that type of player. Like I said, some players don't care. They're cheerleaders. We won. You did nothing. I wouldn't feel happy doing that, right? So when I had my first year of semi-pro, and they said the first year the rookies don't play. Man, I threw helmets on the sideline. I flipped out. I outworked everybody at practice. I got in by week 5. The quarterback was asking for me to come in because I was out showing his wide receivers at practice, right? That's what I'm telling you. I would have quit. I can't, like, I don't watch people play that are involved that I'm better than, and I'm just happy. It's just not what I bring to the game. So if that's the level of passion you have, no way in hell it matters to you how many games you win when you're just running miles and miles and miles knowing that you're not getting the ball thrown to you. Just doesn't work like that. One catch for 7 yards. unacceptable in any game AJ Brown has ever been in since the first day he got drafted. It's just unacceptable. He's uncoverable. He's huge. He has track speed. I don't want to hear you can't get him the ball. And if I was AJ Brown, I would have been ran from there. I might have ran from there last year and not got a ring. I would have got the ring in the mail because technically you was on the team last year, so you. But I wouldn't even have won the championship. They probably wouldn't have won without AJ Brown. So I think that's the part they're not understanding. When AJ Brown leaves and you get in that situation and you have to throw the ball, Devontae Smith ain't a one. He's not a one. Doesn't have the body weight to bully cornerbacks the way AJ Brown does. And with accuracy deficiencies, AJ Brown makes you look good. It's not going to work without it. You're not a Super Bowl contender without AJ Brown. And I think he knows the cards are in his hands right now.
Well, part of me too thinks that AJ Brown isn't just speaking for AJ Brown. He's speaking for the entire wide receiver room. Because you said that they're not getting AJ the Brown. The last game, he didn't get nobody the ball.
Yeah, but I think I'll be honest with you. I think AJ Brown's a little bit on his Keyshawn Johnson shit right now. He don't care what they're doing. That's why he's willing to leave. I'm not saying he don't like them. I'm sure he loves everybody on that team, including Jalen. But I love a bunch of family members that I wouldn't want to be on my football team. So that's the thing. It's like I don't think
that's what fell apart with Keyshawn and the Bucks. And with Keyshawn back then, they said the same thing. Like, well, why is Keyshawn tripping? No, they're winning. No, the Bucks won the Super Bowl. But it's like, with that offense with Brad Johnson as quarterback, he just wasn't getting the ball. They won because that defense and Mike Allstott.
Bro, Keyshawn was on the Jets for obviously got drafted there. He played with so much garbage. My guy wrote a book that said, "Throw me the damn ball," and got out of New York. Like but what people gotta understand is most wide receivers, they got alpha mind states. You know what I'm saying? So you can call them divas and all that, but the reason why a lot of wide receivers act like that is because they put in the work to act like that. You see what I'm saying? So when they know that you're throwing the ball and they can catch it most times, you not throwing it to them is not acceptable. And I think that AJ Brown knows that he's typically the best person on any field he's on. And the fact that he's not being used, he's just wasting his prime right now. Like he's thinking about stats, Hall of Fame, the jacket, all that stuff. You ain't getting into the Hall of Fame playing with Jalen Hurts. You're just not gonna.
Well, not only that, but also too his next contract. Because when his contract expires, they're gonna use these numbers against him.
Yeah, but somebody else would give him the bag. He knows that. I don't think he's worried about that. I think he just wants out now. I think that's what it is. It's like, look, I don't care about the money. Just get me to someone who can throw the ball. Like let me fix this, because I know Jared Verse defended Hurts and said, yeah, everybody in the NFL could throw the ball. He's just lower tier in the guys that could throw the ball. The backups in the NFL could throw the ball. That's why they're in the NFL. But here's the thing. If you took all these pads off, put all these guys in the back guard and said, let's just go outs and goes and 25-yard post and all this stuff, Jalen Hurts wouldn't be impressive. He's not on the level of a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert. There's at least 15 guys when it just comes to throwing the rock would make him look amateur. And that's what we were saying. So he can't throw the ball. I know people not even in the NFL that can throw the ball. Doesn't mean they throw it well. And he's not one of them guys that throws the ball well.
No, he doesn't at all. You said it in week 1. He's a glorified running back.
Yeah, that's all he is. He's literally a glorified running back. Yeah, for example, is he still averaging 10-plus carries a game? Yes, he is. He's averaging more carries than some running backs. Let that sink in. And now, that's a quarterback? Lamar ain't never did that. Lamar has never did that. Think about it. But they told you for a long time he's a glorified running back, right?
Nah, the glorified running backs in Philly, not Baltimore.
Bro, he's giving himself 12, 13 carries a game. It's like, come on, bro. You're giving yourself, as a quarterback, 13 handoffs a game to yourself, and AJ Brown can't get a goddamn pass, and you want him to shut up and be a good soldier. Bro, you're hired to be a quarterback. learn how to throw, my guy. Because I know a lot of those times and not designed runs, you don't want to throw. You're either scared to throw, I don't know what's going on, but you need to, 8 of those times, just heave it. Throw it up to A.J. Brown. He won't be complaining. Your team will actually probably be putting up a lot more points. But instead, he wants to turn around and hand it off to himself. That's what he likes to do. So now you're going to run your best player off your team. It is what it is. When A.J. Brown's gone, God forbid something ever happened to Saquon Barkley, knock on air, Jalen Hurts will get exposed in one season. So good luck.
Well, we'll go from A.J. Brown's current team to A.J. Brown's former team. We have the 0-4 Tennessee Titans at the 2-2 Arizona Cardinals. Arizona are 7.5-point favorites at home. Arizona 2-2 after starting out the season 2-0. They've lost their last 2 games to the Niners and the Seahawks. For the Titans, they're 0-4. They have not looked good at all this season. And Cam Ward, after the game last week, basically said,
They suck.
Yes. He
Yeah,
said,
actually,
yeah.
went to the streets with it too. He said, basically, straight ass. I had a vision of him posting the fattest ass on Twitter and say, "How ass are we right now?" That ass.
Ass, yeah. That's how much ass we are.
What's the spread on this game?
Arizona 7.5-point favorites.
I won't waste too much time on this. I'm gonna take Arizona. I have a funny feeling this. You said 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling I'm gonna regret this part of it, but I'm gonna take Arizona covering as well. I think they could put up points. Trey McBride alone is just a beast. Their running back situation is oh my god, it's bad. Connor out for the year. Benson on the IR at least for 4 to 6 weeks. I think they got D Marcanto in, and I think they do have Michael Carter, maybe that used to be on the Jets. I had high hopes of him at one point, but I don't think they'll be able to do much in the run game. But I do think they'll do. The running backs will catch a lot of passes. I just can't see the Titans putting up points, man. They just and you remember the other day or a couple weeks ago, I said that he got away with that across the body throw with the end zone. You notice he's thrown 3, 4 more of those. Not actually in the end zone, but yeah, but it's got him in trouble a few times. We call that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you get lucky once and it costs you in the long run. So I just don't. They just don't have nothing. I don't see anything positive with them, like at all. Like I see them as a team that's selling at the deadline. Don't even really know to sell. They're gonna be sellers, assuming they at least get rid of Snead. But you can't really name no one on their offense. Their backfield isn't threatening. I think they got Tony Pollard still. They should get blown out. I mean, this ain't really Cam Ward's fault because if you look at their roster and you read off the names of their players, he doesn't have anything to work with. Like Ridley's the only thing.
Well, we talked about this when we reviewed the draft way back when. We said we were surprised that Tennessee is giving up on Will Levis so early. That they gave up on him after just 2 years and they drafted another quarterback. And I think what we're seeing is that Will Levis wasn't the problem. The problem is what you're saying. They have nobody to work with. Will Levis had nobody to work with, and right now Cam Ward has nobody to work with. They got to surround these quarterbacks with talent. No, they got to give them something to work with.
You know what's the overall sad part about this? And we said this, I think, before the draft. I thought the best thing for them to do was get a boatload for that top pick.
Yeah.
And build around Will Levis. And this is why I thought that, right? Right now, looking at Cam Ward, Will Levis looks better than him. And what do you do now? Like, and I don't mean like I went back and watched all their college tape, but what I mean is Will Levis in a Titans uniform has impressed me a few times. Cam Ward looks like he got a long way to go. Now, it's similar to, and we'll get to the Bears later, but it's similar to like with Caleb and Fields. Had you just kept Fields or kept Levis in this situation, got a boatload of picks. Think about all the stars that now we're seeing, like wide receivers from the draft, or running backs, whatever the case may be, or tight ends. Think if the Titans had those picks, say they maybe move back a few picks and they take a Tyler Warren, right? He goes there instead of the Colts. Say they go back a couple of picks, take a McMillan, or they ended up with an Abuka and some first round picks in the future. Now I feel like you had a project QB, like not from the projects, but a project, right?
Yeah, a quarterback is a project.
Yeah, so and I feel like now you got another quarterback that's a project, but he's probably a little bit back further than what your other quarterback is. I feel like Levis has the prototypical size, arm strength. He just kind of maybe more like the typical pocket passer, but he's mobile as well. So I just feel like Levis with those picks makes the Titans better than what they are right now. Same thing with the Bears. Fields with all those picks you could have got makes you better than what you are right now. Or even if you just gave Fields what you gave Williams. And I think in these situations, the Titans are just failing quarterbacks. So you can't look at the Levis one thing like a success, and I can't look at their track record and think that Ward will be a success. I think Levis will be the next candidate to have a career resurgence when he gets out of there. I think he's probably the next one in my mind. Like if I was to make calls as a GM right now, needing knowing like I have a quarterback maybe retiring in the next few years, Levis is one of the 5 guys I'm making calls about. He has all the mechanics of being a top tier quarterback. We just didn't see him put it together yet. And this is where teams fail. I wouldn't have gave up on Levis.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't give up on him either. And at this rate, I mean, unless Tennessee just plans on drafting a new quarterback every 2 years, they're not helping them. They're not developing them. And I think part of that is on the GM, not surrounding them with talent. But I think part of that too is the coach.
Yeah.
Like nobody's really talking about it, but he didn't really do a good job of developing Will Levis. Now you got Cam Ward, and like I said, with Cam Ward, the way he's playing, you're starting to see that Will Levis wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe the problem is the guy calling the plays, the coach.
And remember, Tom Brady said it the best. Sometimes you look at these young kids, and what you got to ask is 1 through 32, what is their offensive coordinator ranked, and what is their QB coach ranked? Bro, Tennessee got to be in the bottom 3 as far as those departments. So that's the problem. Like, had you took Cam Ward, Will Levis, you put them with a Shanahan, a McVay, there's O'Connell, there's Andy Reid. There's a bunch of different people that just understand how to develop quarterbacks. And there's other dudes that when your development is going wrong, you just think you could grab the next guy. But those are the teams that are doing these guys the biggest disservice. Like, look at a couple years ago, the Panthers had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on their team at once. Both look like trash. Look at them now. And that's not even counting the Jets and the Browns. We know that you get drafted there to die, right? So they got out of there. They, get to Carolina. They're like, it still don't work. You think, oh, these guys definitely don't got it.
Look at both bust.
Yeah, but look at them now. You know what I'm saying? Like you get them around some of the right guys, and they give them a couple pointers. Not like they had to change their whole everything they're doing. It's just a few little things here and there, right? So teams like the Panthers, teams like the Jets, Browns. I mean, there's obviously a plethora of teams you could put here, but they fail their quarterbacks, and what they need to do is they need to bring in good QB coaches, good offensive minds. That's what's gonna help your quarterback. You can't just think that you're gonna maybe bring in a couple stern coaches and some great defensive coordinator as your head coach and think these guys are gonna just develop a quarterback. They've never done it before or never showed they was good at it. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that kind of irks me with some of these young guys. And that's why I told you I'm more hard on the guys that they're labeled as generational. That's why I gotta come for them. But these other guys, they're getting failed, bro. A lot of these kids could be good, and they're just not being coached up.
Yeah, and for the Tennessee Titans, their coach Brian Callahan, he got the job because he was the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. And the thing about Cincinnati is their head coach, Zach Taylor, came from the McVay tree, excuse me. And just like with Sean McVay, Zach Taylor, he's the one that calls those
Yeah,
plays. The
exactly.
offensive coordinator don't call plays in Cincinnati. Zach Taylor calls the plays.
That
So,
you
so for
take
Callahan, like, what did he really do to deserve to be a head coach?
Yeah, I told you, but this is why I told you sometimes it's not you, but you get in the and the other coach ain't gonna be like, no, he doesn't deserve that job. They want the big
Yeah,
job, but at the same time, they don't care. It's not like they're losing something. It's like, brother, what did they think he did? Good job, my guy. Yeah.
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 Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Zach Taylor runs that offense, he calls the plays.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like so Callahan, like he didn't do anything.
I that's these are the reasons, man. This is just it's just how it goes. So
But
I
as far as the actual game, I'm sorry to cut you off. What you gonna
all
say?
right, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, so for the actual game, I agree with you. I think Arizona wins. I think they cover the 7.5. And for Arizona, it's this season so far, they've beat up on the Saints, they beat up on the Panthers, two bad teams, and they lost to two good teams in the Niners and the Seahawks. Now they get another bad team in Tennessee. So I think Arizona, they're just feasting on bad teams. I think that'll continue and they'll improve to 3-2. Tennessee will drop to 0-5.
Yeah. I think Tennessee will steal a couple games this year. I just don't think it would be this week.
No, but I think Callahan might. We were making jokes about Mike McDaniel, but I think Callahan we should watch out for too is possibly getting fired before the end of the season,
Yeah.
especially when your top draft pick quarterback says we asked. Like the owner can't be happy about that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm it's just gonna be bad when they see Levis go to a team and play good. Like that's gonna yeah, I mean, it just is what it is, bro. I feel like we've a lot of these movies we've seen before. It's like we've watched this already. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's why with the Titans, like it's not just Callahan the coach. I think the GM needs to get fired too because what has he done?
Yeah,
He's not surrounding these quarterbacks with any talent.
bro.
The
He's not,
only thing about Will Levis is like, no, he's not really. He can't. They can't trade him because he's on IR. He's out for the season. But I think in the off season, it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
I don't know. One thing about that, I swear I seen somebody get traded earlier this year on the IR, and I thought that same thing. And I think
Usually, they're not allowed to trade you when you're on the
I,
IR.
I thought that. Double check that. Double fact check that real quick.
I'm gonna fact check that right now.
Because I got in a debate with somebody with that online, and I think somebody did get traded. It might be on the IR or injured, might be the discrepancy. It might just be you can trade an injured player, but maybe not if they're on the IR.
So I'm looking it up now, and it says yes, a team could trade a player who's on injured reserve. They changed the rule in 2018. I did not know that.
See, I
It,
knew it. I
it
knew it.
was a rule. Yeah, it was a rule that you can't trade a player on IR, but they changed that rule.
Yep.
In
That's why
2018.
this is why I was looking foolish online. I want to say recently too, because I was like, bro, you can't trade IR players. They snuck that rule change in there, didn't tell nobody. Somebody did just get traded on the IR earlier this year.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that rule change.
Yeah. I guess technically it's a good rule because it's why is it up to you if a team wants to take a risk? You know?
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like sometimes, especially if a player's on IR, or like Will Levis situation, he's out for the season. I forgot what injury he had, but he's out. He got hurt in the preseason. But yeah, a team they could just, even though he's on IR, they could just trade for him because they look at the asset, the future value. Let him sit behind whatever quarterback we have, let him learn,
Yeah.
and he might be our QB of the future. He might be a guy who can maybe we could resurrect his career.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know how Rams fans feel because I know they've been all over the place with guys that they want, and I'm not opposed to get Anthony Richardson. I do like that kid, but Will Levis has a similar, and let me say this vaguely, similar arm strength to Matthew Stafford. He'd be a perfect guy to learn behind him because he got a big arm.
Yeah, and also too, if he comes to the Rams, first of all, I think he's better than Anthony Richardson. And
Thanks.
secondly, I think if he comes to the Rams, he'll be better because he'll get the proper coaching.
Yeah,
Like I said, with the Titans, nothing against Brian Callahan, but so far he has showed with two different quarterbacks that he can't develop.
yeah, and that's why I just
Like
think,
I know we talked about Zach Taylor because he calls all the plays, and maybe Tennessee was looking at it like, well, Zach Taylor didn't call plays with the Rams, but yeah, he's made a good head coach. Maybe Brian Callahan could be the same, but it looks like Brian Callahan is not on the same level as Zach Taylor.
yeah.
It looks like Zach Taylor is that offense, and
But
obviously Joe Burrow had to play a hand too.
yeah, let's be fair. He got his stacked.
Yeah, but even still, though, it's like,
Uh,
what did Callahan really do? Like, I give more of the credit to Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow than Callahan.
I agree. I agree. Some of these guys ain't worthy of a job. I had people telling me Deion Sanders don't deserve a job in the NFL. Have you looked at some of these coaches?
Yeah,
It was like, come on, bro.
like going back to Zach Taylor, part of the reason why he got the job was because of the development of Jared Goff, because they said that him and Jared Goff were really close, and
Yeah,
Jared Goff, though, from year one to year two, got better when McVay and Taylor got there.
yeah.
And so even though Taylor didn't call any plays, they gave him credit for helping develop Goff, and they thought he could do the same with Joe Burrow, and obviously he has because we see what Burrow's doing now.
And Burrow, remember what Burrow's player comp was?
Jared Goff, exactly. But so that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to development of Burrow, from what I'm seeing in Tennessee, you can't give Callahan any credit for that.
Oh,
That
yeah,
has to go all 100% to Zach Taylor.
I agree. I agree.
All right, so we'll move on, and this might be the best uniform matchup of the week, as Tampa Bay is at Seattle. Tampa Bay 3-1, lost their first game of the season last year. I mean, not last year, excuse me, last week. Seattle's 3-1. They've now won 3 games in a row after losing week one. Both teams announced that they're going to be wearing their throwbacks in this game. So that's what I said might be the best uniform matchup. Both of them be wearing their uniforms from the 70s. The Buccaneers with those orange and white uniforms, and then Seattle with the royal blue and the silver helmets they had back in the day.
Yes, sir.
But Seattle will be 3.5 point favorites at home. Tampa Bay, even though they're 3-1, they're kind of a fugazi 3-1 because they could be 0-4. They
Yeah.
they won all 3 games by the skin of their teeth, either like last minute field goals, last minute touchdowns, and then last week they lost to a Eagles team that couldn't complete a pass. So I don't know what to expect from Tampa. I think Seattle is just a better team, and I think they're the best division. I think the NFC West is going to come down to the Niners, Rams, and Seahawks. All 3 of these teams are going to fight it out, and I think Seattle wins this game at home, and I think they cover the 3.5.
All right. Well, I go. Sorry, I'm just putting a text out because I forgot to change the game. I gotta adjust that so people don't try to call me out on it. Because when I seen Lamar wasn't playing, I changed the Texans, but I had Ravens on my original picks. So, with that being said, this is one of the toughest games to pick. Speaking of this, the Carolina revenge game. Baker Mayfield versus Sam Donald.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks are gonna go bananas in this game. I got the Buccaneers taking it though. I am big on Seattle. I mean, their defense is young, they're strong, they're physical. I think them and LA Rams, that is, they've both built their defenses up so quick with so much young talent. It's almost like unheard of what both of those teams did. And I think the Niners honestly are on the verge of about to do that themselves. I'm not speaking on Arizona, but
Yeah, I
looks
was gonna say for the Niners, I'm actually surprised because I thought they're gonna take a step back defensively with all the players that they lost this offseason. But I give them credit. They drafted well and they signed free agents
Yeah.
They haven't really missed a step defensively.
That's so you get what I'm saying. It's like Seahawks, Rams, and Niners just know how to rebuild their defenses. I mean, they so that I do like Seattle on. Offensively, I trust the Buccaneers a little bit more, even without Mike Evans. I still trust them a little bit more. They still got some wide receivers. Obviously, Godwin's back. They got Shepard. Abuka is a stud. I know that Bucky Irvin is probably going to be out. He's in a walking boot. But I mean, White's very well serviceable. It's not like he was the starter until he lost his job. So it's not like they're going to a scrub there. I have more faith in the Buccaneers offense to put up points. So I'm gonna take the Bucks in this. But what was the spread?
Seattle is 3.5 point favorites.
So yeah, don't matter with that because I'm gonna take the Bucks to win the game.
Yeah, so my only issue with the Bucks is that I know what their record is, but it's kind of, I won't say it's misleading, but they're winning a lot of close games. All three wins are close games. And for me, it's just how sustainable is that? Like at some point, the ball's not going to bounce your way and you're going to lose. And last week, they lost to an Eagles team that, like I said, offensively couldn't even complete a pass for the entire second half. And yet they still couldn't win that game. And so I just think Seattle, especially their defense, I think Seattle can hold them and shut them down.
I don't think a bad assessment of that. I guess I could give you my reasoning on this. These are two guys that been in the same, I believe, same draft class.
Yeah, I think Baker went one, Darnold went three.
All right. Um, Fought for a job on the same team.
Yeah.
Baker felt a little bit disrespected.
Well, yeah, both of them should because they both got traded to the same
What I
team.
mean is Baker left there feeling a little disrespected because he's brought it up a few
Yeah.
times. So I mean, with Wilkes, I believe it was, who's in Carolina right now.
No, he's Wilkes was the head coach of Carolina. He's done the DC and with the Jets.
But that's what I was
That was like his revenge game because like that defensive coordinator over there cut me.
yeah. Basically, I said it wrong. But you got what I was saying. When they beat the Jets, he threw it out there. He's still a little mad over Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Now, looking at the two quarterbacks, Baker's the guy that got the swag. He wants the revenge. Like Donald just out there trying to play. He not saying he's just happy to be there, but I'm sure he's just a little, he's feeling himself a little bit. But Baker's the guy with the oomph. So I'm looking like this game right here means probably a little bit more to Baker than it does to Donald. Baker's a little bit more egotistical in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way. And I think that he's gonna ball his ass off in this game. I also do believe that Donald would have a good game, but like I said, I think Donald's just here to play good football. I think Baker's the guy that throws a chip on his back and likes to go out there and prove people wrong. So I do understand what you're saying with the close games, but one thing I want to say about those close games, Baker came through every time he needed to. So in a game like this, I'm expecting him to come through. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think it'll be a good game, but we're on different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then the next game we have the Detroit Lions at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Lions are 10.5 point road favorites in this game. The Lions, after losing week one, have now won three in a row, and they have the second best offense in the NFL. Actually, out of all the teams in the NFL, the Lions have actually scored the most points.
I think they're the first.
So much for they can't win without Ben Johnson.
All right.
But for the Cincinnati Bengals, I do have a question for you. So they're 2-2. After that 2-0 start, they've lost two in a row, and they have looked terrible. They got blown out against Minnesota, blown out against Denver. But looking at that division, they're in second place right now. Pittsburgh's in first place at 3-1. Baltimore, they're struggling. They're 1-3. They're tied in last place with the Cleveland Browns, also 1-3. The Browns just made a quarterback change. They're going with the rookie. For the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar is hurt. We don't know when he's going to come back. And the Steelers, even though they're winning, they don't really look that good. So if you're the Bengals and the division's right there in your grasp, I know Burrow doesn't come back into December, but do you make a trade for a Russell Wilson or a Kirk Cousins to try to save your season? Because right now it doesn't look like Jake Brown is going to hold down the fort until Burrow comes back. Because the way Jake Brown is playing right now, they might be out of playoff contention by the time Burrow comes back.
Yeah, you got to make a move. I'm not into ever laying down. And if you don't make a move, you're laying down when you have a fighter's punch right now.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite pick for them would be Cousins. I think Cousins could slide right in there. I mean, it's not that hard to get it to Chase and Higgins. I think Cousins is well serviceable to do that. Russell don't do it for me over there. Russ, I wouldn't. I think Russ and the Bengals would be a disaster. But I do think that whether it's they might even be able to swing a little lower than them guys and just find somebody that just isn't gonna ruin shit. You know what I'm saying? But Browning's averaging like 3 interceptions, so you got to do something. Your season's not over. You got a good enough offense to win with. You got a good enough offense to put up points as long as your QB doesn't give the ball away. You see what I'm saying? So you need something more stable. I just don't like Russell in that offense, but I do think they should make a call for Kirk Cousins. Probably also there's probably some young guys you could make calls for that might be able to split the games for you. Like I don't know how many games you have to win for this division, maybe 9.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like whoever is the quarterback, you just gotta keep the team in contention. So when Burrow comes back in December, you guys can make a run at the playoffs or potentially win the division. I do agree with you with Kirk Cousins, and also too Cousins knows the offense. Sean Taylor came up under McVay. Cousins played with McVay in Washington. McVay was his OC.
I didn't even know that. So yeah, he's definitely the answer.
Yeah, so I think Cousins would be the player. The only problem with Cousins though is just his contract. I don't know if because Cincinnati is cheap, so I don't know if they want to pay that contract.
Well, here's the thing.
Just for half the season.
You don't pay the contract, but here's the thing: it's pick or pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give up a 3rd round pick. It just is what it is. You give him a 3rd round pick, which is an overpay. It is. It's way too much for Kirk Cousins. But I guarantee you, Atlanta, the contract, you give him a 3rd round pick. Now, what is the season worth to you? They might even do it for a 4th, right? But what is the season worth for you? I think Cousins instantly right now allows them to fight for that playoff spot. Now, if they feel the same and they want it, give them a 3rd, take Cousins. Atlanta will eat the contract for a 3rd. I promise you they will, regardless what they say. And once again, I'm admitting you are wildly overpaying. But you're pulling in a boat with no holes that might be able to get you to the other side before Burrow gets here. So, if it's worth it to you, you make the trade. I would do it if I'm Cincinnati. I don't think you have to pay money. You just got to give up the pick.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like you have a chance because it's a winnable division, and so you have the chance to save your season and win this division and make the playoffs. And let's say Burrow misses the next 8 games, you just need a quarterback who can at least be, they can at least go like 5-3 or 4-4. So when Burrow comes back, you guys still have a chance. Right now, with the way Jake Brown is playing, by the time Burrow comes back, there might not even be a point of Burrow even coming back because if they're out of playoff contention, what is Burrow coming back for?
I'll give you a better one. It also gives you a chance that if Burrow comes and ever gets hurt again in the playoffs, say you did make it, Kirk Cousins could score with this offense.
Yeah.
No question. Now, it doesn't mean you'll win a championship, but all I'm telling you is if you did make the playoffs, right, and Joe Burrow went down, I would feel a lot better with Kirk Cousins playing, thinking you might be able to steal a trophy than putting Jake Brown in it. So I think that Cousins not only works for them this year, I think Cousins works for them long term. I think he's officially a backup. I think he could probably be the Bengals backup for the next 3 years. You see what I'm telling you? So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. I look at it like a third round pick for a I think he instantly would be because right now he's probably the best backup in the NFL. If we're not counting young kids with potential, right? Just
Right.
pure backups. Him, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo, one of the two, right? But I think Cousins is a little bit better than it. So you get Cousins in there, you got someone that could potentially help you get to the playoffs, and you, at worst case, have the best backup in football. It's a win-win. Now, Atlanta hasn't made the trade because I know people know Cousins might be worth like a sixth or seventh round pick. And that's why Atlanta wants you to pay the money. You're right. He is. He's worth take him. He's worth that. But if you want to take him for free, you pay him. Now, if you want to give me something he's not worth, I'll pull up the Brinks truck. Now
Yeah.
that's what
I think part of the reason why it's been so hard for them to trade him is because Atlanta wants whatever team takes him on to take up that whole contract. And I think Atlanta, they're gonna have to swallow that contract. They're gonna have to do what Denver did with Russell Wilson, which is, yeah, we'll trade him to the Steelers, but we'll pay the contract. Pittsburgh doesn't have to pay anything.
but
And I think Atlanta's gonna do that with Kirk Cousins.
to be fair, that's why Pittsburgh overpaid. If you look at a few things, right?
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. All right, look at that. Look at the Pittsburgh Ramsey package, right?
Right.
And really think about it. The Dolphins gave you their number one tight end all time history, stat wise. Right? He just broke records. Had the best statistical
Yeah,
tight end
Jonnu Smith.
statistically. Not saying he's their best tight end. He could be statistically for 1 year, best tight end season in Miami history with Jalen Ramsey. Now, think of this. Rams was all over that trade, but you know Rams was not in the business of paying that money. They even said it, right? Now, they found a way to get someone to take Ramsey and take on this whole contract. See what I'm saying? Now, Rams might have maybe been willing to give a little bit more, whatever the case may be, but their negotiation is you pay the money, right? So there's always a yin and a yang. So a team is always willing to either eat the money or you take the money. It's what makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So if you call Atlanta with a sixth, seventh round pick, this ain't cool. We'll give you Cousins right now. You take the money. You call Atlanta and say, bro, I'll give you a third or a fourth. They think it fuck. Shit, send it. We'll eat the money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's their level. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said I'm not anybody's gonna go crazy saying, oh, a third round fourth. No way, you don't. Yes, you do if you want to save your season. And if you want Atlanta to pay the money. If you want to pay the money now, probably could get him for a seven. Call him. Say you're
No,
out.
just give up the third and the fourth, or the fourth, and just have Atlanta eat up that contract and pay it.
Yeah,
Because
because since
honestly, you only need them for what, half a season, 8, 9 games.
yeah. But I think with Burrow's injury history, he's valuable to have for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
agree.
I look at it.
I agree. But as far as the game itself, I'm gonna be quick. I got the Lions, and I think they will cover. They're just rolling right now, both offensively and defensively. They're rolling, and I know Philadelphia is 4-0. I know everybody's still picking Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl, but right now, the Detroit Lions look they're the best team in the NFC through the first 4 games to me, and I think they win this game and they cover the 10.5.
I'm at you. I'll be quick. I got the Lions. This is going to be a murder scene. I don't think this game would be close.
All right, so we'll move on. We got the Washington Commanders at the LA Chargers. Chargers are 2.5 point favorites at home. Chargers 3-1. Commanders 2-2. Good news for the Commanders though is that Jaden Daniels is expected to play in this game after missing the last 2 games with a sprained knee. I think the Chargers will bounce back. They'll win this game, and yeah, they'll move to 4-1. And I got them covering the 2.5, obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna match on that too. I'll be quick. I think Daniels will give them a boost. They have a fighting chance. Is McLaurin back too, or no?
I did not see about McCorn, but I did see that Daniels will play.
I can check right now. But I did see another funny stat too. PPR has Krosky Merritt ranked as the number one running back. That is mind boggling to me because there's no stat or metric I see that shows that. But as far as McLaurin, and I do like the kid, McLaurin's out. All right, so he's not back yet.
Right.
I do think and Debo's a little banged up too. We'll see how that goes.
Well,
But
in their third wide receiver, Noah Brown, he's out too.
yeah, I do think that they'll be better, obviously, with Daniels because that factors into their running game. I think with him out there, it makes their defense a little bit, or their running back a little bit more threatening. Because I think defense is a little bit more scared of Daniels running at this point than Mariota.
But with that bad knee, though, how much of a impact could he have running anywhere?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if he's in a lingering situation or he's fully healthy, but I do think that he gives them a boost. But I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Chargers play this game angry and aggressive after coming out and putting on a shit show last week. I do got them covering the spread as well.
All right, and then the Sunday night game, we have the New England Patriots 2-2 at the Buffalo Bills 4-0. Buffalo 8.5 point favorites at home. What are your thoughts on this Sunday night game, divisional rivalry?
Well, the, first of all, I got Patriots winning by the spread for sure. I don't have the Bills beating them by 8.5. It's a division game. I think the Patriots looked great last week. And I don't know if signs of things to come, but you know how like the Patriots like on the cusp now. Um, so I'm gonna go on and say it. I picked the Bills, and I'm gonna stick with my pick. But this is definitely an upset alert. I think the Patriots might be able to get them.
Well, I disagree. I got the Bills, but and I also have the Bills covering the 8.5. I don't see this being an upset alert. I think Buffalo will win this game by at least 10. For the Bills, so far they look like the best team in the AFC, and I think for them, it's the regular season for them at this point really doesn't matter. It's all about the playoffs and the way the season's shaping up so far. It's set up for them to finally get over the hump this year. If they don't get over the hump this year, they just never will make it to the Super Bowl.
How about the Bills?
Yeah,
Dang.
because everything's set up. Their Achilles heels being Kansas City and Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they're not well right now without Burrow. They're not good. Kansas City, as we mentioned earlier, this might be the year where they might actually get got. So I mean, everything's set up this year for Buffalo, and so if they don't get to the Super Bowl this year, they just probably never will.
Yeah, I don't see them getting to the Super Bowl. But peep this, right? This is what I wanted to read to you. I'll read like the last, say, 10 Patriots games, right?
Mm.
All right. Let's see. I'll just give you the scores, and these go kind of Patriots. I think won a few of these. The Bills won most of them. But look, 16-23, 24-21, 27-21, 25-29, 35-23, 24-10. That was a bad one. 47-17. That was a bad one. After that, 38-9, a bad one. 10-14, 24-21. But now these is getting those like 22-23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their last 5 games have been decided less than 8 points. And I think the Patriots was a lot worse in all those games than they are right now.
All right, so you got them covered 8.5. Well,
I
it is a
just think that they
Stephon
know each
Diggs
other.
revenge game.
I just think they know each other. That's one of the problems with some of that's what happened to us yesterday. Sometimes the team just knows you.
Yes, that's one thing that's tricky about these divisional games.
And
But yeah, it'll be a Stephon Diggs rematch game as he'll take on his former team for the first time. And it will end things off with the Monday night game. We have the Kansas City Chiefs 2-2 at the Jacksonville Jaguars 3-1. The Chiefs, however, are 3.5 point road favorites. So the Jags are underdogs at home. Jacksonville quietly is tied for first place in the AFC South, but the Chiefs are favored to win this game. So what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think what's the spread?
Kansas City 3.5.
I got Kansas City winning this game by 3. So I got them winning. I got the Jags covering the spread. But I think we talked about this last week when I picked the Jags to beat the Niners. Um, the Jags, they're not the same team that people are expected to see. ETN's running on a tear. They got Tootin behind them, which is good depth. It, we Hunter, I know eventually got to play better. They still got other weapons there. They got Strange stepping up. I think he's getting 7 targets a game. You know, they got Thomas Jr. And their defense is for real. And Lawrence looks like he's taking that next step. So I don't think this game will be easy by any means. And I don't think this is the same old Jaguars. That's why I'm picking the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs will grit this out, maybe like a 23-20 type of game.
Well, I will say this though: the Jags defense has forced at least 3 turnovers in every game this season.
Yeah.
So they will turn you over, and if that happens, they could pull off the upset here.
You
As far as Travis Hunter, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'll say it again. They just might have to let him focus on either offense or defense. I think right now having him play both is why he's struggling because I mean, that's he has to think about what he's going to do on both sides of the ball. And we were talking about earlier about when you have to think too much. And then B, this is not college, this is the NFL.
yeah.
So I mean, what's his energy like? How much energy is he putting on offense? How much energy is he using on defense? And it's playing both sides. Is that why he's struggling? Because he's just tired.
Yeah, I mean,
The game is a lot faster than college.
I would say for sure. I think you should let him master one and then try the second. Like you just
Mhm.
focus on one and then get the two. But I think that both of his problems is his feet work. It's just feet work is not there. I think, and this isn't a bad thing because this is all the things that you can develop and you can work on, right? The athleticism you can't work on. You either have it or you don't, right? He relied on athleticism and being a freak his whole life. You see what I'm saying? Now they're all you, bro. They're, they're all freaks. They're all athletes. You got to sharpen up. Feet work and hands is a big thing in the NFL. So breaking off the line, you got to get better on just physically being able to run through cornerbacks. And your feet, that awkward feet work is not going to work in the NFL. Not on offense, not on defense. And I watched all his plays against Chase, and it's not all bad. Like there's some of those plays, he's on his ass. You know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I mean? So he had some great plays against Chase, but he's just inconsistent with his feet work, and he's already getting handsy down the field. Like you gotta kind of just leave the hands alone for a little bit, master your craft as far as stance, explosion, and I think that he has everything else. But it'd be better to just get him to do one and then focus on the second. And personally, I think your feet work is I don't know if I'd say easier to learn. I've played both positions, corner and wide receiver. Corner is more natural and backpedaling. You just got to make sure you don't run awkward, right? But like when you're breaking in and out of routes as a wide receiver, it can sharpen all that upfield. Now, running backwards is a different beast, but once you get your feet under you, you got your feet under you. It's like you see some of these running backs when they run through the nets, or like the cornerbacks, or like if you see Cooper Cup go through that, he just does it so much more special than some of these other dudes. And that's what it is. It's he has more control breaking in and out of routes. And that's what Travis Hunter needs to work on. So if you get him with like a route technician and you work on his feet work, that's when his game's gonna get better. But relying on being an athlete is over, Finn. It's not gonna work no more in the NFL.
Yeah, and I agree. And last week I thought about you too because you talked about I think it was during we were breaking down the NFC, but you said Nick Sirianni. He reminds you of one of those white boys that would like talk a lot of shit. But then if you like step up to him, you'll call the police. That was Liam Cohen last week. Like he was talking shit, tried to fight Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
And when Robert Saleh stepped up to him, he walked away.
Yes.
He didn't want to speak.
Did you hear what the unedited one said? Go Google. I know in the video you hear what Liam Cohen says, and they.
My name at your mouth or something like that.
Oh no, bro! I think he said allegedly. He said I'll end you. Said I'll kill you.
Yeah, Robert Saleh is like, okay, let me see you try.
Like no, that's what Robert Saleh said to him.
Oh.
But they edited it out. I mean, I heard that's why if you notice, he's walking right towards him, lips moving, like I wish you would. Like, get out.
Liam Cohen's like, my bad. I was just joking. I'm just playing.
Football energy, not real fight energy, right? But yeah, I mean, Liam Cohen, I like his energy though. He's a bit of a goofball. You see, he does have a little bit of passion, and I seen him ripping Trevor Lawrence a new one.
He's another one from the McVay tree.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be real good.
Yeah, you can see it already. He's turned that team around already.
No, when he predicted who Sean McVay was gonna pick with his first draft pick, I knew he was the one. It's like, oh, he was right. You knew it right away. Like in synergy with McVay because he was like, oh, they're traded back. Who he's gonna take? He looked. He said Terrence Ferguson. Yeah, all of a sudden they said that's everybody in the Jaguars war room was like, what the? Did you see that?
He was paying attention. He was paying attention when he was in LA.
But bro, nobody had an idea that McVay was taking Terrence Ferguson. We thought he was moving up for a tight end. We had ideas of the ones he wanted.
I'm saying like Cohen, he worked for McVay, so he knows him.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna tell you. I think it's a difference between you was in the building or you actually was one of the dudes in that room with him. You know like he know McVay. He knew what he was looking at. You know I'm saying whatever traits McVay looks for, Cohen knew because he was like, this is the guy. He matches all the traits, probably because highest jumper, fastest tight end. He had all the one metric. You know what I'm saying? And he probably knows that's what McVay and Snead go for. Mm-hmm. But that was the last game, right?
Yeah, that was the last game. That was the Monday night game.
All right, well, let's get up out of here and on to the next one, my brother. And don't forget to let them know where to find us.
You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spreaker. You can follow us. Our handles at the bottom of the screen. At Mob Squad 508 and at Expected Ant on Twitter/X. Also, too, you can scan the QR code, get off on Doobie Energy. Also, too, you can use the code Mob Squad 508, get 10% off on your Doobie Energy products. And yeah, that's it.
Yep, and don't forget, follow us on YouTube. Not just at the man Anthony Thomas. Follow us at Mike and Ant Sports Talk. I believe it's under at Mike and Ant Sports Talk is what the YouTube's under. But we'll see you in the next video. Let's have a great week. What week are we in now, boy?
Week 5.
Damn, it's week 5. I had to erase it because after what happened last night, which we'll talk in the next video. All jokes aside, let's have a great week 5, everybody. Good luck to all your teams.
I enjoy. Peace.
Yes, sir.